Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown, along with Ryan Graham.
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber.
Hello.
And this is State of Atlanta. How'd you like that little intro, guys?
Nice.
That's a big thing.
Nice.
I like it.
Yeah, I was playing.
We're getting professional. I mean, you're getting professional. We just show up.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, that was kind of cool. I like it. We got a little new background. I didn't realize we had a generic background the entire time. Last week I was spending my entire time looking at y'all's faces and not realizing in the background it was weird shape.
Yeah, it's all lit blue. All right.
Exactly.
We were like leaves and shit last week, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it wasn't the best thing out there. So
Mona silence for the Leafs. We'll never see them ever again.
No, you will not. Hopefully not. So how's y'all's week been?
Mostly good. You know, school started, so that's been nice. For the last 2 days, we have had all day to work quietly without a child.
Excellent. Yeah, ours does not start back. It doesn't start till next week, but we put the kids back in daycare, so we've had that for the past 3 weeks of 8 hours of uninterrupted, like our life back, which is sick.
Yeah. Tim doesn't know nothing about that.
I don't know anything about that.
I think we should time share our kids during this whole thing. Like a couple of days a week, we should have dropped our kids off over at his place just so we have something to talk about on this subject.
Yeah.
I can report back how awesome it is.
Oh, your kids are great. What do you mean?
I know, right? We have so much fun at the park.
They're angels.
You've earned another day with them. So, yeah. Well, we got a little bummer news over the week out of Ohio Valley. Murray State has now backed out, so now we've lost the week 1 and the week 2 game. Tim, what was your reaction when we found out that Ohio Valley was canceling and Murray State was backing out?
I was okay with the conference canceling their season. I was kind of upset that Murray State backed out. I felt like they could have come down and played us. I don't know.
Right.
Did you get talked to the beat writer at all from them or no?
No, we've been in contact, and he's looking forward to being on. But obviously, at this point, it doesn't make too much sense to talk about a game that's not going to happen. But yeah,
it would have been good to have him on this week, though. We talked a little bit about that.
Well, the game wouldn't even be for another 2 or 3 weeks. So, but whatever. So the conference said that the teams could still play their out-of-conference schedule games. They weren't going to do conference until possibly spring, which I don't think spring FCS happens at all. It doesn't make sense to me for them to do it. But that costs them more than they get out of it. But I kind of thought when they said that they were going to do that we would get that out-of-conference game, that they would still want to come down here. It's not too far of a drive. They pick up their, I don't know, what is it? What do we pay an FCS team? $300,000, $200,000, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that would help tide them over for a little while.
Well, that was my first question when they canceled was what's the penalty? Because anyone that backs out of a contract has a penalty, right? I mean,
right. There's definitely a penalty for that, but there was a tweet that I saw somewhere that said that Georgia State had agreed to reschedule the game at a later date, like a future year. So
we should have screwed them. We should have made sure they closed down.
Well, the only teams that close down are the teams that beat us before. They beat us, then they close down, like Lamb.
Didn't Murray State beat us at some point already?
I don't think we've played Murray State before.
We definitely have played them. I don't know if we beat them.
In football?
What?
We played them in football or played them in basketball?
I'm pretty sure we played them in football. Maybe it was a long time ago, but
it's been in the past 10 years. That's the case. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure. You guys are better Googlers and being engaged than I. But
I'm actually trying to look it up right now.
I'm trying to look it up, but I don't remember ever playing them.
I thought we did. I thought we were, because we talked about like the run and gun, and maybe it was back when I paid more attention to that other school down south.
Yes, you were right. We did play Murray State.
Did we win?
No, they beat
us.
They doubled up on us. It was 48-24, October 8th, 2011.
So close them down. Just tell them that the penalty is the cost that it requires for them to run their university, and shut them down.
Oh man, the good old days when we lost teams.
All of them.
24, yeah, all of them. But all of them to 48-24. So yeah, So I was kind of bummed. I maybe I got a little too overly optimistic about that game. I kind of thought that it would happen no matter what, or if they were going to shut down, it'd be after we started. I liked the Thursday move of the whole thing, but oh well, it is what it is, I guess.
So what I've been kind of frustrated at is, I read that article in the AJC, which was actually pretty positive, but there was no discussion from the coach whatsoever about replacing the game. And to me, that's like super telling that they're just not gonna.
Well, yeah. Like I said, I saw somewhere that Georgia State already agreed to replay the game at a later date.
No. But replace the game on the schedule for this year.
Oh yeah. We'll get into that kind of schedule stuff. Because there's a lot to talk about whether or not we replace the game. But Murray also was scheduled to play Louisville, and they backed out of that. But I guess Louisville was doing a Louisville thing, and they probably canceled on them actually versus the other way around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did they keep any matchups or
no? They're not playing anything at all.
Nothing.
They're not playing anything.
I get it.
Which is, I kind of thought with that when I think it was Kennesaw State's conference was the first FCS conference to cancel but allow the out of conference games, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense if you have a big money game, especially if you're playing, a big money game, to let the school play that, get their money. But it'd be kind of weird to play one, maybe two games, and then sit for 5-6 months until the spring season starts to do it all over again. So, whatever.
Hey, it gave the team an alternate practice schedule, right? Heavy day, light day, alternating.
Yeah,
what they went to.
Well, yeah. Georgia State's got now a long time to practice, get ready for Lafayette. Which that Lafayette matchup, I did not like that scheduling from the moment that the Sun Belt released a schedule, because Sun Belt hates Georgia State and they don't like scheduling, giving us favors in schedule. Like we've had Bama for I don't know how many years in week 2, and they're like, all right, cool. Then host arguably the best team in the West, arguably top 1 or 2 team in the conference the following week. Almost every school that schedules these big P5 payday games where you're expected to get pounded gets a bye the following weekend just to be able to be prepared. But no, not Sun Belt. They're like, no, play Lafayette. Fortunately, at home, at least we didn't have to get back on the road for it. But yeah. So we got more.
Do they have any games? Does Lafayette have a couple games before that, or have you checked that?
Yeah, they're playing before, I believe. I looked up there. I was more or less paying attention to whether or not other Sun Belt schools picked up replacement games or were able to keep their out of conference game.
Does it seem like anyone is filling the holes in their schedule, or is it just sort of?
Oh yeah.
Unsurprisingly
at all, App State's been very aggressive about scheduling games, and so I think they have 3 of their 4 back. I think there's a couple other Sun Belt teams that are up to 3 or 4. I guess we're lucky to have 2 of our 10 with ECU and Charlotte. We could do a home and home with Charlotte in the same season, but I don't know if I want to play them twice in one season.
Tempting fate.
Wait, why not?
I don't know if I want to play any team twice in one season. I mean, including an FCS team. But
I guess their conferences are looking pretty strong. Like, there's no chance that we lose those 2 games as well. I mean, I don't think
Conference USA and American. I think that so you've got SEC, ACC, and Big 12 playing. I think as long as those 3 conferences play, you're going to see the other 3 G5 teams, G5 programs play. I mean, Sun Belt came out straight up and said, we'll do whatever the SEC does. And I would have to imagine SEC is the last conference that would back out.
Right.
I don't know. I still thought that was just like a weird hitch to tie us to. Like,
there's a symbiotic relationship. We share coaching and other
replay
things and scheduling types. I don't know. There's a symbiotic relationship between the SEC and the MEC, because obviously we are peer conferences with Georgia State and peer institutions. So
yeah, absolutely. We share the refs. Sorry. There is some weird relationship, right? But I mean, we share the refs somehow. I don't know. I feel like we go to all our football games and we're pissed off at the officiating.
What's up, basketball? Is it the basketball refs? Are they the same ones as the SEC? Because
I don't know about that. I just know it's football for sure. And then our replays actually go to the same replay center.
Yeah.
Which then I'm like, wait, there are some replays where we didn't get the good judgment there. I'm like, do they send it to like a sub-alternate replay center that's SEC, but it's really SBC?
Well, it's like you go into a restaurant and like the person walks up like, hey, my name is David and I'll be your server tonight, but I've got Ryan who's following me over here, so he'll be taking care of you. And then Ryan never fills your drinks,
And Ryan's better than the server.
No, you have that follower that just never gets anything right. They have no clue what's going on. So those are the refs we get. Like, hey, this is your backup ref that just straight out of I don't know, some crappy.
It sort of follows what you've said in the past though, where like when you say things like that, like you're admitting that you're the quote unquote little brother of a Power 5 team and like or a Power 5 conference and like should we be broadcasting that?
Well, no, I want to make one thing very, very clear. This is a Georgia State podcast, and I'm a Georgia State fan. I don't care at all about the Sun Belt or the Sun Belt member institutions. I care about Georgia State, and I think we're in a crap conference, and I want to get out of it, and I want to play in a better conference with like-minded peer institutions. And do I think that's the SEC? Absolutely not.
But are we their little brother? Are we the little brother of UGA or Georgia Tech or?
What we are is you read those old stories where like the king's son got washed away during a big boating accident and then gets raised by a bunch of like craptacular pieces of junk people. And then one day finds out his true spot was to be right there at the royal court. That's what Georgia State is.
What did you read your kids tonight for bed? Whoa. Is this like the founding of Rome? Is that what happened?
We are Rapunzel with the evil, wicked witch mother that's been overlooking us this entire time, and we're truly the princess of the.
What David, have a drink, man.
How many beers have you had, David?
I've only had like 3 or 4, but they were good ones.
I've only had 3 or 4, but they were vodka.
I told you about my favorite drink name ever. It's called the Heineken maneuver, where you take the Heineken and you pour a shot of vodka into it. You call it a Heineken maneuver.
Oh, do you just chug it or?
I've never actually had it. It was just my cousin told me about. They were doing that when they were out camping one night, and I just thought it sounds like a horrible drink, but it's the best drink name I've ever heard before.
It sounds stinky as shit.
Well, that would be a good.
That would be Heineken. But then
that's what I'm saying. Heinies are stinky.
So so our season begins hosting Lafayette on September 19th, week 3, which I think is kind of amusing. I guess we'll get into that part later. But week 0 games were on the table, but we didn't schedule even a week 0. Nobody has actually. I wasn't looking forward to this game.
Is the week 1 game still out there that we initially had with Murray State? Is there still one other game out there? Sorry.
Is it whose games?
There's one other game. So like going into Murray State canceling, there was us and some other game that night, and that's it.
Yeah, there's still games. There's still games. One.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing I guess I'm bummed the most about is prior to this week, before Murray State canceled on us, we knew that we lost Bama, which we lost Bama, but it was nice to have Murray State with Lafayette looming to be able to get the guys ready to actually really go toe to toe and hit another player on the field and get used to that, so that when we do play Lafayette, it's not kind of a gut punch like, oh my God, this is what football's like. It's been a year, 9 months I've been doing this. It's kind of a bummer to miss out on that, and the guys miss out on that. Hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. Do you think that it's good or bad to have a couple extra weeks practice without going up against another team? Tim, I think it's muted, so I'll go to you, Tim.
Okay. I think it's bad that we don't have at least one game before Louisiana. I'd prefer us to get a little bit of playing time in. And I was going to say it's too bad we can't have like some kind of scrimmage or closed door scrimmage or something like basketball could have.
Well, didn't we volunteer or didn't I volunteer myself to actually?
You did, yes. We need to copy you.
I'll go out there and just let them beat up on me. Although I don't know if that would do them any good whatsoever at all. I just got a text message from one of my friends saying that I should shave. I'm assuming that means that he's watching. You can just go ahead and comment in the comment field. So everybody can see. You don't need to keep it private.
Oh man, your beard is rad, and you obviously have shaved it because it's nice and crisp. It's not ragged, like it looks good, man.
It's been a minute, but yeah. Ryan, what do you think? You think it's better or worse or whatever about having these extra 2 weeks to get ready for Lafayette?
No, I think you need a little bit of a tune-up. I think you need somebody to play who's not going to be, like Lafayette is kind of one of the better teams, like you guys have been saying, in the Sun Belt, and you got to have another team to kind of see what your team is, and work it out.
I've tried to be optimistic about this, and I get mad at anybody that says that, it's definitely that we're not playing football or that any team's playing football. But going all the way to week 3 before we have our first scheduled game does make me a little bit more nervous that if something does happen to the season, that maybe we don't see a single game getting played. That kind of.
That's true. But at least we'll have some film on Lafayette, so that should help. That should help, right? So that's a good sign. But I want them to find somebody, like literally anybody to play.
Well, that leads right into my very next topic, which is, do you want us to schedule another opponent? Do we want to try to fill these 2 spots? So we actually have, with the NCAA's allowance on week 0, we have week 0, week 1, week 2. And then our original bye of week 6, October 10th, that we could schedule a team.
2 teams.
I don't think it makes any sense to try to schedule an October 10th game. Why would you get rid of your somewhat middle of the road bye? That's dumb. But so Ryan, you're saying yes, it's schedule at least 1 team between now and Louisiana.
Yeah, anyone. And, I'm on the record last week saying Kennesaw would be a good one if because they have an opening at the same time. I know you guys are a little worried about that kind of game, but I think people just want to see football, man. We should all want to see it.
Kennesaw has backed out of football playing out of conference, so they're not playing anything.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Mercer, I believe, may possibly be an option, but I don't know if we're going to find an FCS school that would play us, that would not expect us to give them a little cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Is it worth paying an FCS school $200,000 to come to Atlanta to play us? Because we're not going there.
Yeah, I mean, we should. And we should. Well, we're going to save that money on Murray State anyway. So, yeah. So
that money was already earmarked to go to Murray State, so might as well play. Yeah, I don't know. You're not going to make up that money. Well, I don't know if you're going to make up that money in ticket sales and concession sale. Well, you're not making up concession sales because we haven't figured out how to sell more than 1 beer per minute anyways. But I think that's the part of it is with everything being so tight this season. I don't know if the administration wants to take a loss financially to play another game. But I just thought about this. So for those of us that are not rolling over our tickets, now we've lost a home game. Do I get a little credit towards next season? Do I get that money back?
I'm honestly just not that worried about it. Whatever my season tickets end up being, I probably, unless the whole season goes away, I probably won't roll over. I'll probably just do whatever they've got and just call it a wash and, support the team.
My family's not coming to the game, so I'll be rolling over 2 of my tickets and keeping my other 2.
Did they do the buy one, get one again, or do I only have 4 tickets? I haven't checked.
I doubt they're doing the buy one, get one. They should, though. They could actually.
They should. Why not?
Higher attendance. Bama's over here only getting 10,000 people, but Georgia State somehow has 25,000 showing up there. We don't know what's going on.
We know what's going on.
Yeah.
So Ryan, you're in the camp of we should schedule somebody. FCS, FBS, just schedule something, right? Tim, where are you at on that?
Same camp. I think if we can get something scheduled on the books, week 0, week 1, week 2, probably 0-1 would be better.
Right.
Have another bye before Louisiana. Right. Regroup, recover if there's any injuries, get to watch their film, get to prepare for Louisiana. I mean, they're going to be one of the top teams in the Sun Belt outside of App State. So you might as well prepare as best you can. I just think having a game that have reps for the QB, get used to the offense, get used to seeing, I don't know. I mean, depending on who wins the starting job, getting ready to see their first FBS defense live would be key in preparing for Louisiana.
Yeah, I see where both you guys are coming from, but I'm actually probably going to surprise you and disagree. After doing some research on the teams that are available, and just thinking about where the team is right now, I'm totally cool with just not scheduling anything. And as much as I want to go to a game, go out there and tailgate and get inside of the stadium, I'm kind of on the page of let's just play our 10-game season and get into whatever happens after that into next year and everything. That being said, I did look at several teams that are possible matchups for us. Obviously, if we do schedule anything, it'll be announced tomorrow. So this will be all for naught.
Yeah,
that's when Georgia State.
I was like, wait, why? And then it all dawned on me.
So
your nemesis.
I tried to do this a little bit today while I was working, and I got quite a bit, but obviously I couldn't spend too much time on it. But the BYU, Army, Liberty, all the independents, they do have schedules that match up with us. So
yeah, I did say anybody, and I lied.
-1.
My bad. My bad, everybody. If anyone is a regular listener, you know the list that he just said, and you know who I mean.
So no Liberty on your schedule.
Yeah, we don't need to throw them a bone.
Well, they are the
so it's okay.
They are the bone receiver for many programs looking for out of conference games. I think there's multiple Sun Belt schools and multiple American schools, maybe Conference USA, that have put Liberty on their schedule because Liberty's trying to fill at least an 8-10 game schedule. So they're on quite a few teams scheduled this season. We'll see our opponents play, or our conference playing them.
Yeah, this whole thing was good for them because they were already like bottom of the barrel independent FBS, which is it's hard to be independent FBS, but
yeah.
So are they paying teams to come to be away team?
I didn't look into what any kind of conditions they were. I would assume that Liberty has the money to pay teams. I didn't even look to see whether they had home and away schedule. BYU, which obviously has money and is a reputable program that schools would like to play, they kind of in control of their situation. I feel like they can probably get. I mean, I guess it's hard to get to. I've never been to Utah, but I guess Provo, Utah, wherever the hell they are. Or I guess wherever the heaven they are, it's hard to get to. But they have 3 home games scheduled and an away game at Army is all they have right now. And then of course Army's Army. So those are the 3 independents. There's some Conference USA teams, FAU, Louisiana Tech, Marshall, UAB obviously would make so much sense to play.
Yeah.
I think
so. You don't want to play UAB?
I will always take UAB, at least right now. I think that's always the game that you schedule if you have the opportunity. And we have 4 games scheduled with them in the next decade or something.
We should make it 5.
Yeah,
6. Man, let's do a home and home this year.
Yeah, so we could do that game week 1, I think. 9-5.
Perfect.
I don't even understand the notes that I've written here. Don't even make any sense. Oh no, so it's what it is. We could do a week 1 game with them, but we need to do it on the Thursday that we were supposed to originally play Murray State because they play a early game the week 2. They do a Thursday game week 2 or something.
No, people do that. They do that all the time. You take the short week for the Thursday game. That happens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could play them on a Saturday, and they could play Miami, Florida, Miami 5 days later, but. We could do a week 0 game with them. I would be okay with a UAB matchup. It makes too much sense. Would you want it to be a home or obviously you want it to be a home, right? We want a home game.
We need to replace our home game first, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be real. If we do it middle of the road, just set up a stadium right there in the field between Bama and Georgia, right on the state line. Florida.
It's Auburn? It'd be Auburn, right?
Georgia, Bama.
Play at the Auburn Stadium.
That's not between the 2? Auburn's
not between the 2.
Auburn, Jacksonville State is more in between the 2 than
play at Jacksonville State. Perfect.
Well, I thought Auburn was right on the border. I thought Auburn was right there.
Yeah, on the border, but if Southwest going down 85, not across on 20.
Yeah. And then they would have to go southeast. We'd go southwest.
I think we would both be traveling further for that game. Anyhow, okay, that was dumb.
Did any of the? I think there were a couple of ACC teams that had openings. None of them fit in our schedule. No.
The AAC teams?
ACC.
So by the time I got down and started looking at ACC, I kind of got tired of it. I was looking at schools I thought were an option and those that had the schedule availability. I think maybe Boston College could, but no reason for us to go to Boston. So I didn't have any ACC teams that would actually fit with our existing schedule. We would have to move a game. to be able to do something with an ACC team from based off what I saw. And also, by the way, this was incredibly difficult to do because as I was writing down which teams were available, there was actually tweets coming through that teams had like scheduled other games, and I did not go back to see if there was if that conflicted with anything that I had already looked up. Also, shout out to David Westbrook for letting us know that Provo is a beautiful setting for football. I'm sure it is. I'm pretty sure Utah is pretty gorgeous in general. I've never been, but I know that their bars aren't keen to alcoholics, so probably not a place for me.
We wouldn't do so well there, man.
No, bring it on. BYOB, Utah, BYOB.
I mean, I did have a thought, with all the conferences pushing their starts to like late September, which is basically where we're ending up right now. I mean, the Sun Belt did have a chance. I get they don't want to do it, but they could have moved games around and pulled them in closer to the start of the season. But I know that would play around with like, they don't want to put a game in a slot that was supposed to be someone's pay game, and then create controversy for getting any kind of payout or a break in the contract payout. So I get why they didn't move anything, but we had a golden opportunity to kind of showcase some of our teams early on.
Well, we still do. We still have that opportunity. That Thursday is the one and only game happening that Thursday of week 1 is a Sun Belt game.
Who are they playing? Who's playing?
It is. You're getting ahead of me here. It is.
Sorry, I'm not reading the notes.
It's South Bama at Southern Miss.
Yeah, I'm going to interject here a little bit because I was doing some research while y'all were talking, and it's literally 107 miles to Auburn from Atlanta, and it is 110 miles from Birmingham to Auburn. It is almost as close as middle of the road as you can be.
Yeah, but I was saying, we could just but you're going away from each other to get towards each other.
To play in a real football stadium.
No. All right, there we go. Just call it. It's set up. September 5th at Auburn, Georgia State versus UAB. Everyone show up. Get there early to tailgate. It's gonna be a night game. Game day is gonna be there. It's gonna be a big, huge match.
I just couldn't believe how literally equidistant it was from the two schools.
That is pretty crazy.
Well, that we have a lot of fan base in Alpharetta, the metro areas, but you add a couple extra miles onto it. Now it's further to get there for our fan base.
Well, and they're taking not 85. They're taking 280, which is some weird not interstate. So
not interstate.
It's some Alabama road.
There's also a slew of FCS teams we could schedule that are still playing. Apparently they're playing. It was really hard trying to figure that out. Like I said, I would go to their pages and I would see one team playing another team. So I go look at that team's schedule to see what they're else doing. And they still have their entire full schedule as if they're playing, but we know their conference is shut down. They're not updating anything at all. So the only real thing I saw that was kind of good was Chattanooga is still playing games. So maybe we could play Chattanooga. It's close. No big deal. But the 8-year-old in me wanted to point out that Austin Peay is playing, and their website for their athletics, you have your university domain, then you have your athletics domain.
Mm-hmm.
Theirs is letsgop.com.
I like that. They have a sense of humor.
I'm like, all right, sure, why not? I broke it down to which days, which weeks teams were available, but yeah, I don't know.
So what you're saying is FBS schedule's job right now is amazingly difficult, and they're constantly working.
Well, there are some week 1 opportunities. BYU, Army, Liberty, almost all the Conference USA schools that are relatively nearby could do a week 1 game, which would be awesome. I'm sure that all those schools would want to get week 1, eyeballs on TVs. So I don't know.
So my frustration, like I said earlier, was that it didn't seem like it was a very high priority for Coach in any of the interviews, where they were basically just accepting that there's no games going to happen and that they're slowing down practice, and that it's all but decided that there's not going to be any games.
I would have to imagine that a coach always wants to play a game. I mean, you talk to a coach, they're always like anybody, anywhere, anytime. With football, with college football, it's the athletic directors that schedule that game. So I think the AD is looking at it from a financial perspective of what it makes sense and what it doesn't make sense to do, and looking at potential L's on the record. Do you want to schedule a game to lose money and get a loss?
Yeah, but that's the thing, is the coach would be looped in, so he wouldn't be given an interview like there's not going to be any games if there wasn't going to be any games. I mean, if there were going to be games.
Right. I mean, as fans, it's disappointing, right? We all want to see football. We've had one game canceled. Now it's 2 games canceled.
Yeah.
I'd love for them to follow what other Sun Belt schools have done and scheduled another matchup between who knows what's left at this point. I mean, there's not a whole lot left, and some of the good matchups are gone.
Yeah.
Some of the other Sun Belt teams snatched up what was there. So
yeah, our buddy Ben Moore over at Panther Talk, he actually put out an article this afternoon about the games he thought that we should schedule, or we should stay away from. And one of the things I thought was interesting is the difference between what Ben does, and he's like really approaching this from a journalist perspective and sports analyst, breaking things down. He's talking about all the different positions that we're starting rookies at or freshmen at, and how important it is to get them some playing time. And I'm like, no, we're looking at this from, I want to see my team play and I want to tailgate. What possible game can we get on the schedule? Just what possible game out there? I don't care who it is, where it is. Just I want a game to watch and to tailgate. Or
I just want to be outside, eating food, drinking booze with my friends, and then watching some football for a few hours.
Exactly.
Having a headache, being hungover the next day.
Well, we all know that Ben's a big FSU fan, or he was an FSU fan before Georgia State got football. So he claims his allegiance is purely to Georgia State now. But he actually lists Florida State, who's an ACC team who's not picked up their opponent yet, as being a great possibility for Georgia State, because it's a bus ride trip and they'd be willing to pay. But Ben, if you're listening, because I know you do, I don't know if you look at the schedule. Florida State doesn't have any availability to play us. I think the ACC said they can't play games until week 3, and we don't have an opening week 3 on other than that week 6 matchup, which Florida State doesn't have.
Wait. They can't play until week 3, the ACC? They push back their start?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that bit. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, or week 2, whatever it is. We can't play them. We can't play them.
Yeah. Also, I mean, God love Ben, but I'd be real curious what he wore to that game.
I know exactly what he'd wear. He'd wear the same thing that he wore to the last time we had him on the show, and that's his 24/7 Sports.
He'd be neutral.
No, he's going to wear the shirt of who pays him. So he's going to wear that 24/7 shirt, I guarantee.
He wears Georgia State gear to Georgia State games.
I mean, he may have his Florida State underoos on underneath, but he's wearing that 24/7 Sports polo.
That's okay. I think if Georgia State played Georgia, I would wear all my decked out Georgia State gear, and if I had red and black underwear on, y'all couldn't judge me.
We judge you on everything else. Why would we not judge you on this?
Because you wouldn't know what kind of underwear I had on, so I wouldn't tell you.
PBR you had, man.
That's true. I'd be like, check it out.
Look.
Yeah, that's what you would think you were doing, but in reality, what you were doing is broken into the PA system right next to the train horn, and then like, guess what color underwear I got? One team that Ben didn't mention at all was Army, which Army is a total matchup we could have. But I think the reason why he didn't mention that was because we still have them on the schedule 2 or 3 more times in the future, and beat them last year. I still think
it just means we have a relationship with them.
Yeah, it's the only service academy we've beaten. So
take it.
Yeah.
So you think we're just going to stand pat? We're fine. 2 games down. We'll just roll into the Louisiana game. They'll come here. We'll shot them because they haven't seen any of our offense.
Right. They won't know who's me quarterback.
They won't know anything.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterback, there was a little controversy going on this morning about Michele Calasandro McKelly. Yeah.
Was he tweeting too much? Did he tweet something
Well,
he wasn't supposed to?
Too much.
He just Twitter banned.
He said McKelly 1, coronavirus 0. So maybe he had it and overcome it, or
overcame it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Maybe he got tested and it failed.
Well, my thought was he probably got tested for the antibodies and it came back that he had them, so he beat it without knowing it. But
maybe.
For all I know, he actually had it, and he's doing better now. Hopefully, he didn't infect anybody else on the team if he did have it.
Yeah, they are practicing now, right? It's practice right now.
Oh yeah, they're full on at it, and like Tim was saying, Coach Elliott's statement, I think it was an AJC article, was they're doing a heavy day and then a light day. They're alternating to kind of.
Yeah, I actually read that article.
Yeah, you said that, but you didn't know if they were practicing or not. So,
well, I look. Hey, I was doing the right thing for a podcast, because if we all just didn't say the things that we all knew, there'd be no discussion.
Yeah.
We filled that air. You know it.
If anybody watching has any questions or comments about scheduling or whether we should or should not, feel free to put them out there in the comments. Always interested what you have to say, and yeah.
I can give a little shout out to the AJC. They're showing some love that we haven't seen in a while.
How desperate are they for content that are actually posting positive things about Georgia State athletic?
We need football content, anything, whatever it is, we're posting it.
But this
other underdog passion is also getting attention from the AJC, and it's weird. I don't know how to deal with it.
Okay. I don't know about that one, but sure, why not?
Well, you don't want to get political, so it's fine. That's all.
You're talking about politics then.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Maybe Georgia State should change their colors to yellow and whatever the Libertarian Party's color are, and make them their mascot a snake, and then you guys can.
It's like an anthracite gray. So
yeah, I'm out. I'm tapping out of that one. I think anthracite overall. So
I just got a Twitter notification. Not that it involves us, but apparently App State now.
If it doesn't involve us, let's definitely bring it up in a podcast about us.
Well, App State matters. App State is loosely about us.
It's loosely about us. They had a cluster of COVID-19 breakouts on the team, 11 people. No more practice for now. Stop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
David Westbrooks asked, I forgot I can put this on the screen, if we will get a matchup with Georgia football in the near future. Which one of you guys want to tackle this one first? We can all chime in on it.
Medium future, maybe?
Medium future? Yeah.
Yeah. Not too long, like not anything close by, but I think we'll get it sooner than we think.
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, no, I think we know what our schedule is for the near future, and we know it doesn't involve Georgia. I don't really buy all the stuff about they're afraid that we might beat them or that we're not good enough to beat them, so they won't play us, because it's like, which one is it? If you buy in both of those theories, they will literally never play us for any reason, and they've already shown that they'll play like Georgia Southern every 4 years, 2 years, whatever they were doing.
They canceled that series though.
Well, only once they were FBS, and I just don't understand why they wouldn't play us eventually, but I don't think that it's definitely not in the near future. We already know what that schedule looks like. So
yeah, well, I was not expecting us to schedule Georgia Tech anytime soon, and then bam, that popped up on the schedule this year. I don't see Georgia having any reason to schedule us anytime soon, but like you said, Ryan, we're scheduled out through, I think, 2024, to the next 4 years. So
the reason they would schedule us is because it's not far, right? And it helps to have people that are in state. It just helps your rep. And
I think the best case scenario about getting a game schedule with UGA would be if we could break through to be a power G5 program, and not to say UCF or Boise State, but if we kind of were a program of that ilk, that I think Georgia would be very excited about playing a strong G5 program that their fans aren't going to balk at showing up to Sanford Stadium, or possibly even making it a Mercedes-Benz game.
Well, they did the kickoff with Boise State that one year and lost, but yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Right.
So and I think they played UCF in the Music City Bowl and lost, and then they played them again like 2 years later as like a payback game, I think, and like killed them.
Yeah, I think that the difference is normally once you start getting better, it's harder to find big time opponents because they're scared of playing you because you may beat them. That's what Ron Hunter faced with the basketball program. Is we were just good enough that we may beat you, so you wouldn't want to schedule us. I think with football and Georgia State, where it's different is not that we would necessarily get to that point where they're like they may beat us, we'll play them, but like no, we want to have a quality game. We don't want to have a cupcake game. We can get a good quality fan attended, just a well watched game that they would want to play. So the better we get, the better chance we have of playing Georgia.
Well, so that's the other thing is I think Georgia State fans, you could get a high percentage. I mean, I'm not saying that we're like a massive fan base or anything, but a high percentage of fans would travel to Athens as opposed to some other, like G5 team from somewhere else. They're not going to go to Sanford Stadium in droves. I think we would.
Yeah, I think that Georgia State playing at Athens would be probably the highest attended Georgia State game of Georgia State student and alum of all time.
Could be.
They may be wearing red and black, but they are definitely alums or students of Georgia State.
Well, the P5 programs, though, they're having trouble filling their games unless it's like LSU at Alabama, you know what I mean? And so when they're playing these G5 teams, they need to figure out how to fill the stadium. And one of the ways that they can do that is playing, regional teams. So,
well, yeah, because the conference or the league has gotten so top heavy loaded. The only games anybody cares about are those teams that are playing each other in the top 10.
Yeah.
Every year. So those are the ones that get all the media attention, got all the money, all the fans interested in it. When you start playing a team that has I don't want to say not a legitimate shot for a playoff, but let's admit it, a G5.
We don't have a legitimate
shot for a playoff spot. You don't get a lot of attention to it. So I think it will happen eventually. Near not the case. I wouldn't even go so as far to say medium, but potentially. Hopefully. I look forward to it.
I was looking at what they had open. I mean, they don't have an opening until 2026. So, I mean, there's some options there. They have an open game every year after that. It looks like at least one, if not two. So there's some spots, like we could fit in there. We could slide in there. We'll see.
Oh, if Georgia comes a calling, I think that's one of the ones where you're willing to make all kinds of changes to your schedule. You'll buy out games or kick out FCS programs that you have scheduled. You find a way to make a Georgia game happen.
Well, I mean, we have openings, obviously, 2026 and beyond. So right now we're fine. We could do whatever they wanted. Well, right. Yeah, we could probably do whatever they wanted.
Right.
You really think it's one of the biggest games attended for students?
Yeah. You would have students. Well, maybe not attended, but the city of Athens population of Georgia State students would grow exponentially that day. Like it would give a lot of students.
They might not go to the game, but
they may not go to the game, but they'll be at the bars. They'll be partying around town. So
I don't know. I don't know what Athens proper looks like right now.
It probably looks like Athens does every other day of the year. If you follow any kind of news in Georgia, it doesn't seem like the college kids care about what's going on. And I saw a video from North Georgia College street party that looked like a regular day in Athens. So
yeah, but Athens, their city council puts in minimum drink prices and stuff. So they're very on it.
Gotcha.
They don't strike me as the type that would let bars open.
They wouldn't be encouraging. How about that?
I encourage it. I think every bar should be open that wants to be open.
Yeah. Well, let us pickle ourselves. That's the best defense against COVID, pickling.
I've not heard that term. I've heard herd immunity and I've heard socially distancing and self-quarantining, but pickling.
Yeah. Pickling. Just get good and boozed up.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I've been living by that mantra for so long.
That's what we do every Tuesday, right?
That's right.
Every Tuesday and then every day after that till next Tuesday.
I'm pretty sure I have COVID except for on Tuesdays.
It's when it passes through your system.
We're immune on Tuesday.
I wanted to get to a question that was posted last week that I forgot to put out here, but I know it's a fan of the show, Mitch, on Twitter at that 5011 guy. What will the record books say about Georgia's GSU Sun Belt Championship win this year? With the way things are, what's going to happen when we win the Sun Belt this year? Are they going to put an asterisk on our year because of limitations?
Who cares? I'll take the asterisk.
That's exactly right. That's the right answer. I agree completely. I don't care. If we win, we win. We win, we win, we win.
Nobody will ever question what that asterisk means. And if they do, they'll get a fun story about this weird time that we lived in 2020. And they'll be like, cool, they're still the champions.
Exactly. I don't think that if we win the championship this year, based off of what we're seeing so far, it's any different than the other. We're still playing the same conference schedule we were planning on playing. So,
yeah, I think if there's any kind of weird tiebreaker rules that involve out of conference, that could get complicated. But if not,
Well, no, you just skip that when you go to the coin toss. And then if we win that.
Yeah, coin toss wins.
I think it should be rock, paper, scissors.
We have that, don't we?
We should get the team captain from each program to do rock, paper, scissors against each other. And televise it. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
We can put it right here on the show.
Maybe TikTok dance-offs for the tiebreaker. Why not? Gotta stay current and relevant, man.
Tim's going Zoomer on us.
Zoomer, is that the term for the young and the?
That's the youngest right now. Yeah.
Zoomer. I guess I'm a boomer. I'm old.
Tim's going full Chinese communist on us.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay.
I went the other route. There were two routes to go, and I went the other one with TikTok.
So to change the subject dramatically, the preseason ranking, College Football News preseason ranking came out, and I think we're the highest preseason ranking we've ever been. 67.
We're in the top 100.
67. I mean, there's 130 FBS football programs, and we came in 67. Only 76 are playing, but 67.
Nice.
There were one thing I wanted to talk about. This was they kind of put down a couple of lists like best player, interesting game, blah blah. Realistic season goal. They said a winning record with a win over Georgia Southern, and I'm like, that is, in my opinion, that's exactly.
That's every year.
That was before 2020 COVID nonsense. So
the only thing that I could say would be different is once we get established to be a winning team would be winning the Sun Belt plus with a win over Georgia Southern. But yeah, I mean, a winning record with a win over Georgia Southern, that should be our expectation every single year, right? As a fan, base, that's what I want, right?
Yeah.
I would say the same thing. It's definitely not a goal. It's the expectation.
You know, the kind of funny
6 wins plus a win over Southern, always.
Yeah. And the great thing would be the way that the Sun Belt's been doing our schedule is Southern's always that last game of the season. So if we beat them every single year and that's our 7th win, it's kind of like, beating you fulfilled both of our 2 goals.
I like it.
But I mean, I would like to have way more wins than 7.
I'm sure.
I mean, beating them to become bowl eligible is nice. I say always nice, but I think it's happened one time.
Twice.
Have we beaten them to become bowl eligible twice?
Oh wait, no,
one time.
No, you're right.
I think it was the one time where that is what made us bowl eligible. It's good feeling.
That was the sweetest.
Good feeling.
Yeah. So we're already 49 minutes in. I was going to talk about what the season could look like overall, not just Georgia State for football, but we can save that for next week if you guys want to go ahead and head right into the last call. Unless there's there's one thing I want to talk about. Do you guys have anything else before I give my last little topic, whatever?
Nah.
What you got, David?
No, so Tim, this is what you and I were talking about before we went on. Is with the SEC and the ACC delaying their starts, I think even the Big 12 is not starting week 1 because there are no week 0 games, even though the NCAA allowed a free waiver for anybody to play week 0 games. There are none. Week 1 There's one game on Thursday. That's that Sun Belt, South Bama versus Southern Miss game. The official start to college football, that's Saturday. That's September 5th, 4 games. That's it. There's only 4 games that day. And there may only be 3 because one of those games may get moved to the Friday beforehand. How crazy is that to think about that big day where everyone builds their entire Labor Day weekend around just being pissed drunk all day Saturday watching all those college football games? 3-4 games.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Are we going to actually like barbecue? Like what is the plan?
Are there any good games out of those 4?
It's usually like festival or football, and now it's going to be like figure it out.
Well, we've got on that Saturday, we've got 2 Sun Belt games. We've got Arkansas State at Memphis and SMU at Texas State. Now that Texas State game had been originally, or not originally, it got moved to week 0. They moved it back.
Is it all on ESPN then? I mean, it's ESPN just covering all of them?
They could literally just do it all in one day. Just like wake up in the morning, we do a 9 a.m. game, and just get all the games going on ESPN proper. They can still do their cornhole championships on ESPN News and everything.
Yeah.
ESPN leaves it on ESPN Plus and makes everyone sign up for it.
ESPN 2 is cornhole.
Is it?
Yeah. Like, sorry, cornhole, you're on ESPN 2 now.
And it's like every single weekend. I've watched it so many times.
Well, what I'm saying, I mean, when's football starts, because ESPN will have all of the football games because that's all there is enough for ESPN.
Right. But my question was, if SEC is not playing until week 4 and ACC is not playing until week 3, and you have your G5 programs and Big 12 playing early on, after week 4, you could have a 1-0 Bama, but like a 4-0 App State or something like that, and because of our crap scheduling, a 2-0 Georgia State. Does Bama deserve to be ranked in the top 5? Because they will be. They will be ranked in the top 5, but they don't deserve to be. They have played a quarter of the games,
or none of the games. If you do it, you're going to have some kind of ranking before they begin, right?
That top 25 should look way different than it's ever looked before. There should be so many G5 programs in the top 25 going into week 4.
Yeah,
there should be.
As a small aside, I didn't take that into account. I didn't know all the other conferences had pushed theirs back, but all the more reason we need to find a football team to play.
Just more games.
We'll get a lot of coverage. I mean, like, that's the fact of the matter is we'll be on ESPN if we find a game.
All right. Well, so we got Alexis from with the university says that we are 59 out of 76 if you only include teams that are playing.
If this keeps up, we'll be in the top 50.
All right, yeah. If there's any more COVID outbreaks, like we're talking about at App State, we may actually make that top 50 before the first start of the season.
Nice.
This is obviously a big. This could have been a big opportunity for Georgia State if they had scheduled some games for week 1 and 2 to get some eyeballs on the program, and had we come out with some wins over whoever we may have scheduled, looked good, 2-0, 3-0, going into the SEC team showing up, it could have been good, especially if they were convincing wins. But yeah,
no dice.
At
least for now, until tomorrow when they release we're playing. Don't know.
Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to find out the 2 teams that we're playing tomorrow. Like,
right.
Just get it over with.
Exactly.
We could get an anonymous tip from the people that have it scheduled and are ready to release it tomorrow.
Well, we know there are people from athletics right now chatting in our chat. So, if you know anything, just let us know.
Just go ahead and put in the comments. We won't talk about it live streamed on the internet whatsoever at all. So.
Last call might happen.
Well, speaking of last call, I think it's about time for that. We're butting up against that hour mark. That is a arbitrary time frame that doesn't matter whatsoever at all. If there's anybody watching that wants to be part of last call, come on and chat with Ryan, Tim, and myself offline.
If you're in athletics and you want to tell us about the scheduling news, also join last call and let us know.
Just put a comment in the chat there that you want to be part of it. We'll message you, or you guys know most of us, message any one of us directly, and we can send you a link to get into it. Crying face there, Alexis. I like it.
I like it, Alexis. Nice.
So we are going to wrap up this week's episode and head into last call. If you guys want to join, please let us know. We'll do that. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Tim, for being here. We are approaching, next week will be episode 52 of the show. If you measure a year by the number of weeks, that means that will be 1 year mark of doing. Oh wait, this is 52. This is 52.
Whoa!
We're staring right at 1 year of doing a weekly show, which I never imagined we would have done weekly with such a long and weird off season that we did. But it's been a lot of fun.
We were worried about the off season. Period.
We were worried about the off season when there was going to be like spring and summer sports.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
We had nothing.
We're like, what are we going to do?
We killed it.
So thanks to everybody that has been watching. Thanks to Ryan and Tim for being part of it this entire time. Please consider joining our Patreon. We're trying to make this bigger and better and have more fun with it. You get early access to the last call episode, and actually I'm looking at just making Patreon members a member of the last call episode if they want to come on anytime. Private group chat, whatever other cool weird stuff we can come up with. You can join by going to patreon.com/stateofatlanta. So with that said, we are going to head over to last call. So thanks everybody once again, and catch you later, Panther fans.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.